Hello everyone and welcome back to Chess Programming Game Design with me. So in the last lesson we finished working on the rook so that the king cannot go into its line of attack. Today we're going to be doing that with the bishop and the queen. My aim is to finish it all today. Well, not on the 18th, but whenever this video comes out. In this video, anyway. So, as I mentioned before, the bishop works very similarly to the rook, although it's diagonal. That doesn't change much because, well, you will see. It's similar to how we made the valid moves copy work. Again, we will start off by clearing the king can't move here. List. There we go. That's done. If you forget to do that, then you might encounter some weird problems, i.e. this not taking place at all. So that happened to me once, I think, or maybe even twice, and I was very confused as to why. Next thing, we want to copy the valid moves here into king can't move here. So that king can't move here is a copy of all of the valid moves. Next up, we go into this, we leave the valid moves, and we copy and paste the following. Well, you guys have to type it out, but I forgot my two booleans at the front. There we go. So let's compare it to the rook. The rook also had this is the rook. The rook also had these two booleans at the top, although albeit different names, they serve a very similar purpose. Let me just split this up. I hate doing this, but I have to because I want to show all of the lines of code. I remove that, and after that I do the checking, similar to the way I've done with the rook. I'm just going to let you guys figure out how it works. I will show you that this is very similar to how this works. By getting by making sure that it is in the correct direction. So this is the up right and up left. So the diagonals, both diagonals in the up direction. Those are the only two directions that we're looking at because that's what this if statement is making sure that we're looking at right now. And one of these is going to be the up right, and this is going to be the up left. And we deal with them separately, but again, we do remove king can't move here. Now, in the rook, at the end, I also did mention that you have to make sure not to, well, to count your own king as a normal piece, which I haven't done in the bishop here, and I do need to do that. So to do that, I am just going to add an OR and new line because, well, I want it to look nicer. Basically copy what I have done over here with the rook. If I can select the correct bit, I am going to have to change up a few variables, but that's not too big of a deal. So instead of check up square, I'm going to have check up left square. And let's copy this. And where is my other thing? There it is. And copy that. So that's that done. And I'm just going to leave you guys to figure how the rest works, because it's very similar to the rook and to how we've been removing valid moves. If you guys can't figure it out, do feel free to ask me in the comments down below. As I have been saying before, I will be happy to answer it, but I just don't feel the need to go into it that deeply right now. And then after all of this checking, we want similar checking for the bishop inside of there. Before that, actually, we want to add the other two booleans. Again, very similar to the rook, we had these two booleans. Again, albeit all different names, they serve a similar purpose, if not the same. We put the next lines of code. Ooh, what did I do? This, okay, this is the bishop, good. For some reason, when I copy and paste that, it doesn't maintain its indentation. It's not a big deal. And again, I have an if statement and then I have an if else if, same as the rook. Here, however, it does check different things. It checks the diagonal directions, because the bishop only attacks in diagonal directions, whereas the rook attacks in horizontal or vertical. And here, once again, I will just copy the previous lines of code. So that goes there and there, making sure to copy and paste those. And this is a working bishop right now. Great. So we've got the bishop. Why don't we move on to the queen? So now we have the very difficult job of just copying and pasting pretty much everything. Before we do that, we can actually just type this. Oops, that's not correct. Clear. And there should be a dot there. And next thing we do, we copy the king can't move here list. There we go. That's our copy made. Let's add our variables. So from our rook, or our booleans more specifically, from our rook we copy those two into the queen. From our bishop we copy these two again into our queen. Green just means that they're not used anywhere. Don't worry too much about it, because we are going to use them in just a second. Let's space this out nicely, or nicelier. I know it's not a word, don't judge me. There we go. And after we remove things from valid moves, we want to add a few things in. So this is what we added in here. We copy this whole thing, paste it in. Done. Next we go into the bishop. We copy this whole thing, type an else here, paste, done. Because we want it to be a if-else-if chain instead of being separated. I don't think it would matter too much if you left this as an if, but I like having it as an else-if. It just makes me feel nicer. And I think it is better practice to have it this way. So that's the top left, top right, and right directions done, I believe. Now we need to do the other four directions of the queen. And those are dealt with over here, unless I completely messed this up, which I might have done. Yes, I definitely have messed all of this up, so we can just move this from here into here. Also, actually moving these, because I just realized that I put them in the wrong place. Next up, we go into our rook again. We copy these two booleans, put them into the queen. Copy these two booleans from the bishop and put those into the queen. And we use them in the same way we've done with the rook and the bishop. Just after this, let's delete this space because it's not needed. Go into the rook, find our new things, which are over here. We are actually going to need to do a bit of editing here, but that's fine. Now leave this part out and only copy this part. Put an else and paste it. That's that done. Now why I didn't say to copy this was because, well, we want to put this inside of this if statement. And, well, we're going to do that like so. We're going to put an or here, new line. Oh, I just realized that I want it that way. And then we can just copy all of this. That should all be fine. Dot remove J. And I believe that now we have a working queen, as well as a bishop and a rook. And we made the queen just by copying things out of the rook and the bishop, which wasn't too difficult, was it? And that is all done. I am going to test it. So similarly to the problem we had with our rook, we get a null reference error. Let me just show you in the bishop at line 132, which is this line. There are actually 4 lines where this could happen, so we want to prevent it in all 4 lines. One of them is over here. I know that I can make it more efficient by putting this as one thing and then putting everything after it in brackets, but for now I'm going to keep it like this because I don't want to be changing all of that right now anyway. Then copy, oh, no, not there. Copy this down to there, copy this down to there. This also means that in the queen we have the same problem in the rook's places, and this is over here. Check up left, and 1, 2, it's 2 of them, and then we have 2 more. So this is going to be the rook, and this is going to be the bishop. So we take this and once again copy. Oh, I just realized I haven't indented it properly, or at least not the way I want it to be indented. There we go. Now we shouldn't get any of those errors, hopefully. I do say hopefully. And if we don't, we are allowed to test our program. So it's a good sign that our queens can move. The king isn't allowed to move forward. That's a good sign. That's actually, well, we can move it. It can capture. Let's see if the white king can't move into the attack path there. That's good. There are too many things to test out with the queen, but the basic things, by the looks of things, do all actually work. If you guys run into anything that you see that is not supposed to work, that is not working the way it's supposed to be, then do let me know. I will see how to fix it. The last thing I want to check is whether the attack can get blocked. So something like this, where I want to get the black king out, and sadly the white queen is actually attacking there. Okay, let's do that. Oh, okay, we do have an error. That's good. We need to fix something. If we get an obvious error, then we know that we need to fix something and that we have an error in the program. So that's always good. Null reference, that means that we have something which doesn't exist in here. Check up right square, and I immediately see that this is supposed to be check up right instead of check up left. That's probably just because I've been copying and pasting too much. So that's good. We have fixed that. Down right, everything else should be fine. This might actually also mean that in the queen we have something wrong. This was over here, so this was the first line of the bishop. That means that it's going to be the third thing over here. Check up right, and yeah, we'll have the same error in the queen. Good. I do believe that everything else is going to work the way we expect it to. And now we are completely finished with where the king can or cannot move. This means that we're going to have to transition into checking for check, checkmate, stalemate, or normal playing conditions. And that is probably going to come in the next lesson on Monday, I believe. So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give me a like, share, and subscribe. It encourages me to make more of this kind of videos, and also just because I don't even know what. So yeah, it makes me happier. Just give me likes for making me happier if you want me happy. However, dislikes do also help, as long as you comment why you disliked it, so that I can improve in the next video and you do like the next video that I make. If you have any questions, as always, do feel free to ask in the comments down below. I will answer them as soon as possible. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.